how disappointed were you when you got the news on Friday about the incident? I mean, young blokes make silly decisions. It's a mistake, but how frustrated were you before you even started that you're having to deal with this?
Yeah, it's never nice, obviously, when you have to go through things like this. But we are where we are now, and I've got to look at everything around the club and build off what I start to see from right now. There's a lot of positives around the place, but also too we need to deal with the things that are in front of us, and obviously that's one of them.
Does this underline how much work you have to do to shift the culture?
Well, look, until I actually get inside and I start getting around and talking to players, and I'm very big on my one-on-ones with my players and getting an understanding of who they are and how they tick. I'll start to build my own mind up about what I believe we need to do moving forward. But obviously, it's sort of well documented that there's things that are need to be adjusted and fixed in what we do moving forward, and that'll be part of what I'm going to be looking at.
Have you spoken to Ezra Mam?
I have, yeah.
How disappointed are you in what he's done?
Look, I'll keep the conversations that I've had with Ezra, with the situation. Still, I've got to find out more about what the situation, I guess, entails. But I have spoken to him, and it's more about the safety of everyone that's involved in that situation.
Will Ezra be stuck match, or do you want him here for the long haul?
But I'm not even going to touch on that at the moment. I've got to go through everything. I've got to look at where and how we got to that point, and assess what's going on, and then understand him as well, but also understand the position of where the organisation sits as well. So, the next couple of days, I'm obviously going to be spending a lot of time just getting a really good understanding where the club's at and work my way.
Does that mean, Mabs, that you don't know exactly what led to this incident? Have you worked out what was going on before Ezra Mam had this crash?
I'll find out the details as I've only just landed, so I'm not going to talk about those over the phone, but I'll definitely find out how one of our individuals or one of our players gets to that point.
There's no justification for the behaviour, clearly, and the club said that, but people do make mistakes, and people should be given a chance to try and redeem themselves. Yeah. And is it something that he can draw a stake in the ground for himself and really show a different Ezra Mam? Like we've all seen the good sides of him. This is probably his lowest point. Are you of the belief that, with the right guidance, that you can see a young man come out and rehabilitate?
Yeah, I do, Della. I mean, I've been in the game for a long time, and I've seen many players go through many different situations. And you learn a lot of lessons throughout your life. And young men, and this one, I'm not downgrading the situation. No. It's one that we need to really have a look at, how he ended up getting to that situation, but also too, that people will make mistakes, but they've also got to own them. That's the big thing. If he owns where he's at, and I think his actions moving forward are very important. And I know he's getting some help at the moment about where he's at, and obviously when he works through that, then I'll obviously get some time with him and obviously assess everything that's going on.
Mate, I know you're on the inside now, but before you joined this club, there's a lot of people that have views that this club has culture issues. Is it easy for you to sit back now and say that, do you think it has a culture problem?
Look, I think every club has different situations going on inside, and I'll assess that as I go. Look, it's obviously very well documented that things have been going on, and I'll address them as I see them. I think there's certain things that you need to do as a professional player to get yourself to the top. And I've been very lucky to be around players that have shown the guidance of what they need to do to get to the top. And it is about the hard work. It's about the people, the character of the club, the character of the people. All that plays a part in what brings success to an organisation, and that's obviously why I see the opportunity that I have now is that I can bring that to the club.
I think Dave's words earlier in the week were this has been a lifestyle club that needs to shift to a performance club. As coach, how do you make that shift?
We'll definitely be shifting to that, and I've seen and been fortunate to be around a number of players that have excelled consistently over long periods of time, and that takes a lifestyle choice to be able to do that. And whether you call that culture, it's how we look after our supporters, it's how we deal with everyone every single day, it's how we turn up to training. They're all the areas that obviously that I'll be looking at over the next couple of days and work towards that as we move forward.
How will you drive that match? What's the key to drive?
Pete, everyone in the organisation does that everywhere. In whatever it is that we do, players play a big part in that. Staff play a big part in that. We've all got to own where we are right now. I've started today, and I'm going to own where we are, and we're going to adjust to where we need to get to. We've got a great opportunity. The Broncos, a big brand. It represents a lot of great people here in Brisbane, and I've got to say, a lot of people. I was walking through the airport this morning, and the amount of Broncos fans that were in the airport yelling out, so I can understand or feel the enormity of what this club is all about, and we want to make sure that we represent all those people in the right manner. So that's part of what's going to be the character building of who we are.
Glad you talk about the fans, right? And I know Ezra in this instance has made a mistake, but there was victims on the other side of this incident, and those victims themselves said they cheered for a player like Ezra Mam. I think to the core of this incident, we've got to remember that someone has been seriously hurt was a serious incident in that sense, and it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Can you understand that the public and people like that in this instance are pretty upset that it could have been a lot worse in that instance? Can you empathise with that as a coach?
I empathise with that a hell of a lot. Mate, the seriousness of the incident is huge. And as you said, I mean, people get hurt in these situations, so obviously the people that are involved, we've got to care for everything around them as well. That's part of obviously living life.
Is this big job?
At this stage, are you preparing to be without Ezra in terms for whether it's half million, thinking about suspension going forward? Are you entering the building today? Do you kind of put his name off to the side on the sheet and say, we don't know when he's going to be back, we don't know when he's going to be available for us?
Well, he's got to go through a process, one with the police and then the game and the organisation in itself. So, look, at the end of the day, wherever that's going to land, we're going to move forward with what we have. I mean, I've got a squad. A team is, success in a team is about a squad. And there's a lot of great players that I've talked to over the last couple of weeks that I'm actually really looking forward to, being around, and I'm hearing their training. They're doing what's required at this time of year. They've got to turn up ready to go. But that's how you move. That's what you do at this level.
Are you impressed by that? And there's been a lot of players training here when they're not required. It's been the first time, and it seems like the players are actually driving that from all within. It hasn't been seen like that. They've been here before every day, and you'd be aware of that.
Yeah, Dobbo, I'm obviously aware of that, but that's the norm. That should be the norm. So we've got to be adjusting where we're at, and those things now that I'm here, I can start looking at those and adjust. We're very fortunate to be rugby league players, rugby league coaches. There's a lot of gratefulness that needs to be around where we are right now, and humility around what we're doing, and that'll adjust as we progress forward with the boys coming in, and I'm looking forward to seeing the boys here and train, because that's what you do. That's the expectations of being ready to go on day one is how you get to October. You do all the work now to give yourself the opportunities, and that's what's in front of us.
Is it possible that Jez could play Queensland Cup just to take his time and there'd be a bit of penance to be served, I guess? Is that a less of an option?
Pete, all those things are options. We need to have a look at the situation. I need to get a complete understanding of how it ended up to be in that position. And then from there, we'll make some decisions moving forward. And it's going to be a process. It could take quite some time to get to where we want to get to. But he's a young man, and you've got to care for them just the same as we've got to care for all the people that were in the accident. That's part of what this next process is all about.
So for you, Madge, it's basically a fact-finding mission in the next few days. You're not across all the details, by the sound of it.
Look, I'm across it, but I like to talk to people first before I really make decisions. So, we're talking about humans here, so we're talking about people, and I want to have the complete understanding before I make any sort of further comment around the situation.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, right. Good on you, boys. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike. Congratulations to him getting the job by. I haven't seen you. Being in Greece and Portugal.
Drinking wine.
All right, Michael Maguire there. Now it is the club CEO, Dave Donaghy, stepping up to face the music after another week of challenging headlines. Let's take a listen to what the club CEO has to say and think about the situation that is Ezra Mam and their broader cultural issues at Red Hill.
In terms of Ezra, from our end, it's about working through a process. So still a whole range of information that we don't have. I think we all understand the process that's involved now when there's an incident like this involving NRL integrity unit and ROPA. So of course there's other matters involved too with other authorities. So we'll let them take their natural the natural process that needs to take and respect that, and we'll allow that to play out. And once we've got all the information, then we'll be able to work through it methodically after that.
Are all options still on the table, including terminating his contract?
Again, we haven't spoken in depth of it, but it's obviously a serious matter, and we're treating it like that. So once we've got all the information, we'll be able to work through it from there and work out the next course of action. But I don't think it'll be a fast process. I think there'll be some time that this will take, and we'll allow it to take the necessary time that it needs to.
Sorry, why is Ezra in rehab specifically? Why is he in rehab?
Oh, look, I'm not going to comment on individual matters that are very private. I think that's really, really important to respect that and to understand there's privacy around that. But certainly Ezra's acknowledged that there's some challenges that he's facing and challenges that he has faced. I'm pleased, or was pleased, that he's decided to seek the treatment and support that he clearly feels that he needs. So how long that takes, that's a matter for the relevant parties and for Ezra to go through that. But I think it was important that he took that step, and certainly it's pleasing to see that he has.
Will you be speaking to him in detail before he comes out of his treatment, or will you wait till it's over, or how's that pan out?
I spoke to him over the weekend because I only got back from overseas, I think, on Saturday morning. So outside of that conversation, I've not spoken to him, and I'm not quite sure in terms of the the obligations or the requirements of the privacy around that process. So of course I'll go and seek that out and work out what that looks like, and we'll certainly be reaching out to see how he's tracking.
I think your words.
Look, again, I'm not going to talk about police matters that may or may not be there. So, but I'm sure, we expect all of our people at our organisation to act professionally and cooperate if required.
I think your words earlier in the week where he's gotten a little lost of late. As the man in charge of this organisation, does it concern you a little bit that the support systems within the club didn't catch that?
Yeah, look, it does. I think there's two parts to that. One is, I suppose putting your hand up to acknowledge you've got some challenges. The second part is, ensuring that you're across those challenges. And really for our group, there's a group of young men in there and young women with our NRW team that are mostly aged between 20 and 30 that are in a very different work environment to a lot of their contemporaries that are also aged 20 to 30. So, we certainly acknowledge that, and as part of that acknowledgement is identifying that we can do things better. We'll certainly be focusing on that, especially that transition between the academy program and the NRL program, because it is a big jump. We do ask a lot of these people, and we need to ensure we provide them with that environment that not just allows them. Well, we want them to thrive, not just survive. So that's the point of that, and we'll certainly be investing in that.
Michael spoke about Ezra needs to own this. How important is it for personal responsibility for players as well?
I think you guys know me well enough. That's been a big part of what I've tried to have here is personal responsibility and accountability. So I don't see this as being any different when the time's right. But look, of course, there's a process there, and I don't want to preempt that or interfere with any sort of process that needs to take place with external parties.
So if you have the pre-season,
At this stage, what's the club doing? Being in contact with those victims, and maybe trying to do anything in your power to make their transition after this accident as easy as it possibly can be?
Look, we've made some contact, and we've attempted to make contact with others. For us, we're obviously disappointed to be talking about this. We're disappointed that someone at our club's been involved in a situation like this, and of course we don't have all the facts as yet, so I don't want to jump too far ahead, but really upsetting that members of the public have been involved here. So very sorry for what they're going through. I'm sure it's not very pleasant at all, and the conversations I've had with them, they've expressed that. And certainly, we are a community club. We feel that our relationship with our community is incredibly important. We run many and varied programs all the way through schools and clubs, and especially our First Nations programs, which we're really proud of. But so we invest a lot in our community, and we want our community to be proud of our club. So we've got a bit of work to do to rebuild that, but certainly it's not something that we're shying away from.
So you had the drunken pre-season wrestle, and then Ezra's obviously now. I mean, do you think there's a drug or attitude problem at this club?
I said earlier in the week, I think we've got some real culture challenges. We've had some culture challenges across the course of this year that you've seen, and certainly we had been working to address those, but we'll continue to work towards addressing those, because it's really important. I think first and foremost it's about our people. We want to ensure that people have the right environment, but also that they're willing to buy into what our club's about. Make no mistake, we're going to be deliberate around how we design that moving forward. We've looked to invest in really strong leadership, and we'll continue to invest in strong leadership. We market for a general manager of football to come in to help support Michael, and I think that'll be another important step that when we get there, it'll reinforce that.
How much is this not ideal for Matt? Like, it is his first day here, and he's had to walk into, you could argue, just a shitstorm, sorry for the language, but like, it's just not ideal for someone that's trying to stamp his authority on a team, and he's having to wake up to news or deal with news on Friday of this, and this is his new club that he wants to take over.
Well, the one thing that I've known Michael for a long time, like going back circa 15 years now, and the one thing that more actually, it's probably showing our age, but the thing about that I know about Michael, is how fortunate we were when the time arose that there was someone of his ilk that was available. He's a premiership winner. He's had the highest of success and the highest of highs at both State of Origin and international football. And he's a proven winner, but he also drives really high standards. Certainly, I know that he's here today, but I know the past couple of weeks he's really hit the ground running. Today's his first day, first real day in the building, but he has been part of our club now for a couple of weeks, and whilst he hasn't been on the ground, I'm thinking he's probably had to recharge his phone 3 or 4 times during the course of the day, such as his work ethic and his want to get to know everyone, all the people inside the building and those outside the building too, that can play a role with helping shape our club. So he's already put a lot of work into that. I'm confident that he'll hit the ground running. But it's not all on Michael. It's on the people that are around Michael. It's on our leadership group with our players. It's on the rest of the playing group, and it's on myself and the rest of the club to support him with driving those standards. And that's something we want to do, and something that we're committed to do.
Can I just ask you one thing, Dave? You've employed Troy Thompson as your football manager, and you're also going to the market for a general manager of football. What was behind the thinking there to get two positions like that? And Troy's obviously got a lot of experience in his role. Why did you decide to do that? Have those two specific positions, or that extra one anyway?
Yeah. Firstly, we really want to invest in leadership capability throughout the program post-season. Secondly, it's a big program. It's not just the NRL program. So Troy will come in. He'll really support Michael with the NRL operations and the NRL program, and that's a huge program in itself. We've seen huge growth throughout our game, huge growth in terms of our fan base, and I suppose our commercial program here, and huge now a huge focus on the performance element and driving standards. So Troy will be really focused on that. A GM really spreads across the entire football program. So in that you're talking about NRL, NRLW. We've got 2 academy programs. We've got 3 affiliate clubs that are involved in our program. We've got a relationship, which we want to have really strong relationships with both NRL game development, with the Queensland Rugby League, and our game development programs as well. We've got 10 staff involved with that go across a dozen junior clubs and many more. I think they see upwards of 50,000 kids across the course of a year. So it's hopefully through that you get an understanding of the size of the football program, and just given the focus and the scrutiny on the NRL program, we felt it was too much to have one person really attached to that when we've got such a wide, vast football program. And that's not including our salary caps across both teams and football department caps. So it's quite a big. It's a core part of our business, and it's a big part of our business. And we make no apologies for wanting to invest in it.
You talked the other day about change it. Just on Ezra, I guess, in terms of, do you think he'll get a second chance and the chance to rehabilitate himself?
Oh, look, I'm not going to preempt, the process, Pete. But what I will say about Ezra, and this is from a personal experience, and he's a very decent young man. I think I made the comment during the week that I do feel like he had lost his way across the course of what's been a really big 12 months. When you reflect back on his performance in the grand final and the like, it's been career changing, but also life changing. With I suppose he's how well he's known now, especially in this market. And it's a big market for our sport. So I've not seen anyone though perform what he does for us on the field in a Broncos jersey on a Friday night at Suncorp Stadium, and then on a Saturday turn up and perform a cultural dance acknowledging and recognising the Torres Strait Islander community is so incredibly proud of. So not too many professional athletes would do that. So I think that speaks to the decency of him. He's obviously found himself in a really challenging, troubling position right now. He's sought help, which is great, and for us it's just working through the process once the facts are known to ensure that that we're not making a rash call.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks for coming.